it's fascinating because you talk about the campaigning, which I think is something that maybe not a lot of people are aware that happens. You know, the big Hollywood studios ask their actors, the directors, whoever it is associated with the film, to ostensibly, as you say, campaign as if they were going to go and win, you know, the presidency, for example. That, I guess, is sort of the game of Hollywood, right? And in the past, Lee Daniels, who was your director on Precious, said, you know, you're not known for playing the game. What do you think of the game? I mean, do you think that the game is as bad as it ever has been?
Well, do I think the game is as bad as it's ever been? I think the game is what it is. It's the game. And for people that play the game, they wind up getting played. That's why I never wanted to partake in the game. We just want to have fair and good business. That's it. So far as the game goes, we don't want to play any games. And when I say we, I refer to my husband, who is also my manager, and our attorney, Ricky Anderson. We don't want to play any games. We just want to do good, fair business.
So, I mean, that must be so frustrating, though, right? Because you put out this amazing performance and then you're expected to then add this extra layer, campaigning ostensibly. What do you think could happen in the industry for the game to disappear or to be irrelevant? Do you think it's possible?
I think it is possible. I think the moment we begin to say it out loud, I think the moment that we stop living in this place of fear, that if we speak out loud, that, oh my goodness, look what will happen to us. Well, if we don't speak at all, oh my goodness, look what's happening to us. So I think that instead of us saying, you know, we're not going to watch the Oscars or we're not going to go to the Oscars, let's have the real conversations that need to be had and say, guys, when is there equality in wages? When is there fair treatment on sets? At what point do we say we have to pay people according to their resumes and not keep wanting to pay people by the color of their skin? There are very few of us that are people of color that get the multi-million-dollar paychecks. But there are so many more that deserve those multi-million-dollar paychecks. So I think the moment we start speaking about real conversation and real open dialogue, and that's why we're so excited about our podcast. And if you guys go to play.it, you can hear open and candid conversations that my husband Sydney and I are having about this very thing. Oftentimes we're scared to have the real conversations, and we're having a conversation about an award show. It is a gold-plated trophy. Again, I'm not saying, oh, boo to the Oscars, not at all. What I'm saying is, guys, it's a trophy. So do we celebrate the trophy or do we celebrate the performance?
You know, it's interesting as well when you talk about the pay gap. Absolutely, of course, we know that women are not getting paid as much as men, and women of colour are being paid even less than that, you know, when you look at the numbers and statistics in every single industry, I might add. So, you know, Bradley Cooper said a few months ago, hey, listen, Jennifer Lawrence, I know she didn't get paid the same as I did. That's disgusting. So every time I now go into a meeting or we're talking about our pay, I'm going to tell her, this is how much I got paid. I'm going to help her negotiate. Would you have rather seen Will Smith come out and do something like that, sort of talk about one of those kind of issues? Do you think that would have been actually more of a productive thing for him to have said he would do?
You know what? I don't want to just put it on Will Smith's back. I think it's more productive when there are the power players in the industry that does step forward and say, this is what's fair. I can't speak on what Will Smith should or shouldn't do. I can only speak on what applies to Monique. And I was in a situation with someone, and that was Tyler Perry. And I remember when the Oscar campaigning was going on, and Tyler, which is a good brother, had a conversation with myself and with my husband, both separately. And when he had a conversation with me, we were over in Las Vegas at the Hoodie Awards for Steve Harvey. And he came, I had someone come get me out of my dressing room because he wanted to speak with me. So when I went into his dressing room, and Tyler, bless his sweetheart, there was 1 million people in this dressing room, and he cleared everyone out. So I had my security, and I kept my security in for the main reason I wanted someone else to hear the conversation that we were going to have. And he said to me, Monique, you really should consider the stand you're taking, not campaigning for the Oscar. He said, because if you get nominated, your next movie will be between $3 to $5 million. He then said, if you win it, you'll get between $6 to $8 million. I then said to Tyler Perry, guys, you guys are asking me to do something, Tyler, for free. At the time, the studio wanted me to go overseas and promote Precious, but at that time, Tyler Perry, along with Oprah Winfrey, had both signed on to the film. And I said to Tyler Perry in that meeting, listen, baby, I don't care where the money comes from. You can give me the money for me to go overseas to promote this movie. And he said, Monique, I'm not in the business to write checks and give away money. And I said, Tyler, I'm not in the business to work for free. Now, when he had that conversation with my husband, he said to my husband, I agree with what y'all are saying. You're absolutely right. But they just asked me to give you a call, meaning the studio, and just have this conversation with me. What I would have appreciated, so that's why I say I can't speak on Will Smith, I can speak on my personal experience. What I would have appreciated had when the studio called Tyler Perry to talk to him, to convince me to go overseas to promote this movie for free, I would have appreciated that the same thing Tyler told my husband in saying, you guys are right. I would have appreciated had he said to the studio, guys, what Monique is asking for is right. Her business was done with Lee Daniels, as you guys said. She has no more business with you guys. That's what you guys said. So if she has no business with you guys, why ever would you want her to work for free? But instead of him having that conversation with the studio, the conversation was had with me and my husband. And it was almost like you don't want to mess with the machine. Even though I know you guys are right in what you're saying, you don't want to mess with the machine. And as long as we stay afraid of the machine, is as long as we'll stay in the positions that we're in.
And you talk about this machine as well. Obviously, those big numbers that Tyler was mentioning. If you get the nomination, you get this many millions. If you win, you're going to get even more. Did that happen for you? Did you start getting millions and millions?
You better behave yourself.
I'm serious though, because that performance was amazing. You got the Oscar. You won so many other awards because of your star turn in that movie, and countless others. Did you get that? Did you start getting people saying, hey, this is the $7 million for you, Monique?
When people say, Monique, where have you been? And when people actually bought into Lee Daniels saying, well, she's been blackballed. It wasn't that I was blackballed. The offers that we were getting were lower than the offers I was getting before I won an Oscar award. So my husband and I had to simply say, guys, if we keep accepting those offers, where does that leave us? That doesn't make any sense. We even had people calling us up saying things like, we can make her look good. And Sydney would say, well, we don't have a problem with our hair and makeup team. They do a fine job, but how will you make the bank account look? Oh, well, no, that's not what we meant. So again, when you look at the resume, and we simply say, can you pay according to the resume? If you were to look at the resume and you closed your eyes and you said, now, as in A Time to Kill, now let's pretend she was white.